Men, we are going to cover up our vulnerability side until that woman allows us to open that part up. Can we trust you enough to be vulnerable? Can I trust you enough to be emotional? And if you have a man who is not vulnerable or emotional, it's not his fault. It's you haven't created a space or the place to allow that man to open up. And she never allowed me to do that. And my therapist says she ain't the one.
You're listening to the Redefining Wealth podcast with Patrice Washington. This is the space that you come to each and every week to learn more about what it means to chase purpose, not money. So welcome back. If you're an OG listener, it's so good to have you here for another episode this season where we're talking about redefining love. And if you're brand new here, you might be going, why would they be talking about love? I thought this was a financial expert. Here's what we believe here at Redefining Wealth. We know that wealth is so much more than just money and material possessions. We believe in the original 12th century definition of wealth, which says it's about the condition of well-being. And you need to be well in other parts of your life, not just credit reports and budgets. You want to be well in your relationships, but also in your singleness. And we're going to get into it today with my brother, with my friend. Anthony O'Neill is here to talk about, enjoying your single season. So stay tuned. Right after we do the affirmation of the week, I'll introduce you to Anthony.
You got to speak positivity into your life, into your day. You gotta affirm positivity. You gotta affirm abundance. You gotta affirm yourself to wealth.
Today's affirmation is, I deserve to be wealthy because I add value to others. I am blessed with unique abilities and talents. There is something I do better than anyone else around me with the least amount of effort. When I understand my value, I create wealth by knowing what to charge for my service or product. Selling myself short is an insult to God. He has given me the ability to produce wealth, and I need to do that. When I don't maximize that potential to the fullest, I cannot turn around and expect much more else financially. So today, I will determine and appreciate my value. I will be much more confident in charging what I'm worth and communicating that to the marketplace. Declare today, I deserve to be wealthy because I add value to others. Anthony O'Neill is a national best-selling author, educator, speaker, and host of one of the top financial podcasts, The Table with A.O. On a mission to help others reach debt freedom, Anthony went from being $19,000 and $35,000 in debt to debt-free and living his life's purpose. And now he's even beyond that. He got a little chain on today. We're going to get into it. He now strives to have real, relatable, and relevant conversations that guide ambitious and purpose-minded people on a journey towards mental, spiritual, and financial freedom. Without further ado, here's my friend, my brother, Anthony O'Neill.
Yo, really? That's how you introduce me?
I mean, first thing I saw when you got off the elevator, I said, "Ooh, look at the chain. He got chains now."
No, man. Hey, listen, when you steward your single season well, you just, enjoy life.
I heard that. That's why we say it's not about deprivation, right? We exercise discipline in so many areas, so we get to enjoy.
I sure do. I haven't enjoyed my success a lot. So I say, since I ain't got a woman, I ain't got no kids, I'm going to enjoy me.
Yes, enjoy you.
I like it.
Okay.
Chest my chin.
So actually, that's the season I'm in, even coming out of a long-term marriage and being single really for the first time as an adult.
How you feel?
I'm enjoying my single season.
I'm going to leave it right there. I was about to say something else. I want to get you in trouble. That's good.
No, what you mean?
I mean, when did you get married?
I got married when I was 26, but we have been together since I was 22.
Dang. Man.
Yeah, and I'll be 42 this year.
Dang.
Yeah.
For 20 years.
Pretty much, about 19 years.
So a part of you though, I don't think you're gonna be single for long though, because it's like you, for your whole life, you've been with someone. So I think you enjoy this season, but I think you value partnership.
I definitely do.
Okay,
I definitely value partnership.
And
I'm creative for partnership.
And I'm opposite. I'm not, as much as I want to be in a relationship, I've been single since I've been alive.
Right.
So I'm like, if she comes, she got to be the one. Mm-hmm. Because I'm like,
when she comes.
She's coming.
She's coming.
Yeah, but it's like, I'm 38. I'll be 39 this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yo, I've never lived with a woman. Well, I lived with a woman for like a few months, but I've never really like did life with another woman.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, she got to be the right one for me.
I feel the same way though now, having more clarity about my choice, because I was talking to my dating coach, Joyce Robinson, and we were talking about this idea that for many of us, especially when we're young, we fall into relationship. We don't choose. So there's not a conscious, like, I'm clear about what my needs, wants, and desires are. Mm-hmm. And now I'm, filtering potential suitors through that lens. I'm just like, he said he liked me real hard. And so, I guess he cute. He all right. He funny. And next thing you know, you're like, well, it's been 6 years. Right? But now I'm much more aware and intentional, and I'm more clear about who Patrice is. Okay. At 21, 22.
You weren't clear.
I wasn't clear about who I was. No. Are many of us clear about who we actually are, what we really desire?
I didn't know what I really desired until I say about 30.
Yeah, I would say maybe 35. I was further along because I had already been coupled for so long. So I was blurring what I wanted versus what was wanted or needed, I thought, for the family unit.
Ooh.
Right? So now that I have an opportunity to take a step back and just become more familiar with what is important to Patrice, like irrespective of what would be best for everyone else, but what is truly best for me? Yeah. What do I really desire? What brings me joy? What do I absolutely not like? And I don't have to pretend that I like it. Like, what are those things? So now I'm enjoying the single season. For me is exploring what brings me peace, joy, and happiness.
This is your show. Tell me to shut up whenever. But that's good because, my life coach and I, we've been sitting down. AJ, what's up, AJ? And she told me, Anthony, what is it that you desire in a woman? And she was like, hey, give me no more than 5 things. And I had this long list of things. Mm-hmm. And so my list, some ladies don't like it. Have you heard my list before?
No, let's go.
Have you never heard my 5 S's? You know me all this time, never heard my 5 S's?
I probably have heard them, but just not in that succinct context.
5 S's.
Okay.
They love the first 4. The ladies cringe on the last one.
Is it about money? Is it about money? Mm-mm. Okay, let's do it.
The very first one, she got to be saved.
Okay.
She has to know and love God for herself, I'm not her God, right?
Correct.
I think most ladies, not most, a lot of ladies look at their man and their husband as like that's their God sometimes. I'm like, no, I need you to be able to pray and go to God for yourself. Number 1, you gotta be saved. Number 2, she gotta be sweet. Most strong ladies like yourself sometimes can come off very not sweet. It's like, yo, this is me, this is what I'm gonna do. And like I'm attracted to nourishment. Okay, and kindness. And y'all, Patrice is very sweet. That's my girl. Then she gotta be skilled at something, right? Then she gotta be smart, like smart. I don't want just a good looking woman who doesn't have the brains. And then the last one is she gotta be very sexual.
Oh, what's wrong with that?
Most ladies say all men want is sex. And I'm like, well, here's the thing. I'm a physical creature. I'm a sexual creature. And it's like, for me, I've watched guys settle for those other 4 and they weren't happy in the bedroom within their marriages. And then now they go out here and they cheat.
And they're straying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, I refuse to make a vow to God and say, this is my forever. But because the church has taught me sex is not important, looks are not important, I settled for this. And I'm like, no, this needs to be good too. And so I've said, you know what? Those are my 5 things. And I lose a lot of ladies on that 5th one.
Wow. You know what though? But it's like you said, for many of us who grew up in church, we were taught to demonize sensuality and sexuality. And that is so unfortunate because you're like raised to, abstain from sex and don't do this and be a good girl and all this. And then you get married and you're supposed to know how to turn tricks and do all this stuff. It's like, well, where did the practice come from? How are we just learning? And then also, I feel like, you know, in my experience, the man starts to see you as that nurturer and the mother of my children and this and that and stuff, and forgets that you are a sexual, sensual being yourself. And then it feels awkward to bring up conversations around, well, you know, I like this, or I would like to try that. And now it's like, but you're supposed to be saved. I am saved. And I'm trying to save this relationship. I am saved as well as, right?
Hey, yeah.
No, I think that's really good though that you're clear.
I'm super
that's
clear.
the point in this season, I feel like, is to get clear and to be honest and to, you know, generations before us, they were just, it was like for survival.
Yeah.
And so people just settled and did, well, he come home, at least he come back and all this stuff. But now we have an opportunity to be honest. I just want to be honest, Anthony.
Absolutely. I'm honest up front. And some people say, oh, you didn't have to bring that up front. Well, I don't want to date you for 6 months, a year, 2 months. And I'm not telling you this is what I desire. And then I'm not saying I want to have sex today, tomorrow, or anytime soon. What I am saying, this is what I desire in my partner. And if that's not you, let's not even waste each other's time.
Right.
And vice versa on the lady side. Let me know what is it you desire, so I can tell you up front, thank you, I can't do that. Or, yo, I got you. Let's move forward.
So your list is 5 things.
5.
I can't even recite mine.
You have a long list?
It's got to be 29 things.
You can't do it. Sis, you cannot have... But what are your?
But it's very clear.
No. You can't have 29 things that this man
can.
has to have.
No, it's not that he has to have.
So what are the 5? Like,
They're my
she gotta have.
desires.
What?
Like,
I got desires too.
yeah.
You know
But
what I'm
so mine is just really, really refined as I've been dating. So let me give you an example. Humor is important to me. You know, we cut up. You know, every time we talk, it doesn't take but 2 seconds if we laugh. It doesn't even matter if what we're talking about is not supposed to be funny. We find a way to make it funny.
So, Patrice.
And we're going to laugh.
So if the man has everything else on that list, but he's not funny, you can't be with him?
No. What are we supposed to do? I want to wake up in the middle of the night and laugh. I'm a clown in real life. You know that.
You really are, but I'm just saying, though, humor can come.
Says who?
Yo, can they see your face right now?
But that's the thing. Why do I have to act
I'm not saying don't settle.
Right? Like, no.
Don't settle.
So here's how it's become more refined, though. So I was talking to a guy, and he was funny. So when we first met, he was really funny. And then as time went on, I realized he had a lot of mean-spirited humor. So sometimes his jokes would be at the expense of other people. I don't like that.
Oh, yeah.
So I had to refine it.
Yeah,
so I'm like, okay, humor, but not mean-spirited and not goofy. Don't be slapping your knee in public. I'm still from the hood. And I feel like people will test you if you just look a little too... I mean, I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
I'm in a season of radical honesty. I'm honest.
So did you tell him?
Which one?
Yo,
You're not going to get me in trouble today.
Patrice,
What?
this is your show. I'll be quiet.
No.
I got to bring you on my show. I'm going to ask you that question. Did you tell him? I want to know, did you tell him? Did you tell all the men why you stopped talking to him?
The ones who deserved that level of explanation. I think someone that you just met and it hasn't become deep enough for all of that, you can observe and kind of figure out if it's a vibe or not. And I don't, because you're not wrong and I'm not wrong. We may just not be right for each other. So I don't want to tell you like you're wrong or that doesn't work for me, because there's nothing for you to change. Right? Like that's just who you are. You've never been funny. You never been humorous. You don't
But
laugh.
he could be, though. He could be. You could pull it out of him. I think sometimes ladies I'm going to say that. I think ladies do hang in there a little bit more than men. I think men, we could hang around a little bit more. I think ladies hang around probably a little bit too long.
Yeah. And I'm kind of like correcting that because I don't have another 19 years, you know?
You act like you 60. You're 42, darling.
But I will be 60 in 19 years, and therefore I don't have.
Are you done with children?
19 years.
Is that on your list?
Oh, I'm done. Yeah, on my list. Yeah, you need to come with your own children that you treat well, that you have a relationship with.
Yo, Patrice. Mm-hmm. So what if he don't have kids?
Then he need not desire any, because he's not going to get them from me. Not from these.
Well, gentlemen, that just knocked out about half of y'all. praying for y'all out there. Like, dang, I may have slid in her DM. Nah, don't do that.
You already need to. My child is 16 this
16.
year.
Beautiful.
I'm not starting over, friend. I'm living my life.
Man.
And if he has children, I know I will be an amazing bonus mom.
So bonus mom.
Not stepmom, bonus mom.
Kids need to be old and out of the house.
No. If he has children,
You just don't want to birth any more kids.
I just don't want to birth.
Or
I don't want to
raise any
go
more
through
kids.
the childbirth experience.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. What if he says I want to adopt?
What age? Because I'm also not going through diaper changing.
Yo, I'm glad we were recording this because your faces are like, yeah, cool, no problem.
Yeah,
I'm just not doing
very
the
clear.
diapers.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, cool. This is your show. Why am I asking you questions?
Preferably, well, this is great because now my audience gets to know me too in my single season. And preferably, yeah, I'm thinking middle school and higher would be ideal for his children.
Middle school and higher.
Second grade recitals, not into it. I'm reserving that energy for my future grandchildren, for my nieces, nephews, but I don't have that. I'm not doing that. I've done that.
I got you.
I lived that life.
And I'm with you.
I was very present.
You were. I'm with you. You're a good mom. I've watched you over the years.
Complete.
You kill it. And you was a great wife too.
I was.
I didn't know how you were feeling until the day you told me after it was already done, which was such a great thing. I was like, dang, Patrice, you covered your marriage, which is really dope. You know what I'm saying? So whoever gets you, brothers, I'm just saying, some of y'all don't even think about it. Just don't even think about it. I'm praying for y'all because my sister's going to hurt y'all feelings. You ain't funny. Your kid is 3 years old. I'm done with that. And y'all, how tall are you?
I'm 5'10" without shoes on.
Exactly. So you need to be 6'3". Okay. 6'3".
Minimum.
Yo, let me be quiet. 6'3" minimum?
Well, because when I have heels on, I'm 6'1".
Oh my gosh, y'all.
So
that just knocked out about another
half the population.
Another 3/4 of the population.
Yeah. But you know what?
I think your man, I think he's 5'5".
That is a lie from the pits of
You
hell.
trying to tell me he's wealthy, he loves God, he's humorous, he is, everything that you have on your list, all 28 things, and he is 2 inches shorter than you. You're saying no.
I'm saying no. I'm saying no. But let me say this. When I shifted my mindset and I started to say different things. So first about the height.
Okay.
So people would say, well, there's not a lot of tall men. The average man is this and that. Well, I'm not an average woman. And so there's no average man that I'm looking for. So let's be clear. So
This is so good.
and it is so real for me. So I start to shift my mindset. I could show you on my phone. It's in my notes. I say that there are a wealth of men who are 6'3" and above who desire someone like me, who they're out there. Anthony, when I shifted that language, the next guy that I met was 6'4".
Wow.
The guy I ended up dating for a while that I told you about last year, he was 6'3".
Okay.
The next guy, 6'4".
Okay.
And then the last guy that I just dated right now, 6'6".
You said just, as in y'all still dating?
We just had a little situation yesterday, so. But you know what?
Ask me a question. I don't want to ask that question.
I'm enjoying getting to know men because I was with one man for 20 years. So for me, it's important that I get to see and learn and understand.
What's one thing you're learning about us?
About men?
Because you got to know one for a very long time.
For a very long time.
So what's one thing you're learning about men now? What's something you're seeing all men have in common? I'm curious.
Much more sensitive than they let on to be.
Absolutely.
And I didn't know that before.
Yeah.
Much more sensitive than I realized early on, and require a lot more nurturing than I think I realized. And I think in being in a marriage where I had a baby and got married all the same year. So a lot of my nurturing went towards Reagan.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, mothers are nurturing.
Right.
I never had examples of husband and wives. No one in my family was married.
Yeah.
So I never saw women nurturing men. And the men that I knew of in my family were such I'm the man and I do this and I do that. And they were providers in the ways that they were. but I never saw them being nurtured or really catered to. So I didn't know that was a thing. So I've learned to become more nurturing to my male partner. I've practiced and I've gotten to see. I learned in my marriage, but I think by a certain point there had just become a dynamic where things, you get an autopilot.
Yeah.
And if you're not assessing regularly, things just are what they are. Everyone just plays the role that they play, and you look like you're thriving, you're successful, you're wealthy, you have all this stuff. So it looks like, and I think in my marriage, that's an area that I definitely could have been better in. I should have been better in, was like nurturing. I put all my nurturing into Reagan.
Yo, I mean, I hope the ladies are hearing you. Because I think that's one of the reasons why me and the last young lady didn't work out, because she put all of her nurturing into her son, and she worked 2 jobs, one job in a business, and she looked at me like, "Yo, you're a man, you'll be all right." And I was like, "Yo, I don't care what no men, we are going to cover up our vulnerability side until that woman allows us to open that part up. Can we trust you enough to be vulnerable? Can I trust you enough to be emotional? And if you have a man who is not vulnerable or emotional, it's not his fault. It's you haven't created the space or the place to allow that man to open up. And she never allowed me to do that. And my therapist said she ain't the one.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
Now, flip side, the guy that I just broke up with, right? There have been moments where he was able to be vulnerable and emotional, and I held a safe space, and he said he felt safe.
Wow.
But then he would revert back to not saying if something bothered him, or
because it was new.
Yeah. But it was a constant hot and cold. And I after a while, it's just kind of like, hey, we're gonna have to use our words, because I'm also not a mind reader. I don't expect you to be a mind reader. And I think, and you know me, I'm very clear.
Yeah.
So sometimes people are threatened by how clear I am, and I'm not mean. I'm just clear.
But they're threatened by you being clear? Oh no. I don't understand that. Are these successful men?
You know I'm not. You don't play with me, Anthony. Very successful.
Is income on your bracket too?
I don't. So that's funny that you say that. So on my list, I do not have a dollar amount that they need to make. I have be 1,000% able to take care of yourself.
Right.
Be a good financial steward and generous.
1,000% able to take care of yourself. So if a school teacher, as long as you're able to take care of yourself. And then what's the other one? Financially good stewardship.
Yeah, be a good financial steward and generous. Because some people are good financial stewards, but they mean.
Oh, okay. But they're not giving.
They're not giving.
So the generous means spend some money on me. All right.
And others, be giving. One guy didn't like to tip. I grew up in the hospitality industry. I understand how it goes. So I'm a generous tipper. When service is really great, I tip regardless. But when service is great, I tip accordingly. And this person would be like, "I'm not tipping them. This their job." And I'm like, well, how it works is.
Wow.
And so the fact that you're making all of this money
and you don't,
and it's paining you to give someone an extra $10 who provided outstanding service is wild to me.
Yeah.
And to me, that was an indication that you were going to be stingy in other parts of this relationship. And I don't have it, bro. I don't have it. Now, that wasn't the end all be all, but this is the thing. In the beginning,
it was a trigger though.
I'm observing.
Right.
I'm observing.
Okay. I like that.
First few months is just observation. If I mention why, oh, well, I was just going to give him, I think we should give him a little bit more because of this. And you're like, because, okay. Noted.
Yeah.
It's not an instant, I'm not just discarding people left and right. I'm not doing that.
I feel like this is my show. This is really good.
I feel like this is the AO show. Welcome to Redefining Love and AO at the table. Okay.
I'm serious.
So, your single season, you are preparing for the one. What does that mean to you? How are you preparing?
It's more so about me. You know what I'm saying? I'm really spending a lot of time on really investing into me. LeBron James spends about $1 million and $2 million on himself every single year to be the best basketball player in the planet Earth, right? And a lot of people say, well, what does that have to do about you, AO? I'm like, well, if LeBron James can spend that much money on something that he is passionate about, how come men we don't spend money, time, and resources on bettering ourselves. And I think I was messing up in the past was, let me go get the beautiful woman who had the Bible, the brains, and the booty. That's what I was focusing on, right? And so while I still desire that, I started realizing my mom said something to me that really shifted my whole personality, my perspective a few years ago. She said, Anthony, you know, there's one common denominator in all of your failed relationships. I was like, what's that? She was like, it's you. She said, and I'm not saying that you're a bad man, but I am saying that it can't be all them. You've dated some beautiful ladies, some successful ladies. There was something that wasn't clicking that you need to be working on. And so when she said that, I was like, dang. So I literally went out and started investing into 3 things into my life. A therapist, which I was already seeing, but I invested more into that from a personal perspective. Then I hired a life coach. And then I hired an emotional coach. Right. And so I have these 3 people that we meet 1 week, every single month. 1 week I'm with the therapist. Next week I'm with my life coach. Next week I'm with my emotional coach. And I'm really investing into me being a healthier version of a man. And so I think oftentimes what I think single people were focusing on is like, hey, how do I make more money? How do I get the jewelry? How do I get the cars? How do I attract a woman? Rather than how about you just become what you're trying to attract?
That's it.
And so during this single season, I've really just been learning how to maximize my single season and just really focus on me. And I'm being honest and transparent. Every time I stop dating someone, I look back at what are some things that I led wrong with. And I go back to my life coach, my therapist, my emotional coach, and say, hey, this is what they kind of called out of me. Is this true? Is this false? Should I pay attention to it? And sometimes, actually a lot of times, they'll be like, oh, no, she just wasn't the one. Then sometimes they'll be like, nah, yeah, we need to work on that. And one of those things, I'll call myself out on your show. I'm selfish. I've been single for this long. I'm selfish with my time. You know, so every single day I'm traveling, I'm talking to people, I'm helping people, I'm serving people. So when I get my time, I want it all to myself.
Yeah.
And so then I know with a woman, I got to call her. And I don't like being on the phone for 2-3 hours at a time because I feel like I'm working again, talking. And so they was like, hey, listen, I get you. But a woman is going to want your time. And so what I've been working on now lately is getting out, going around friends and like practicing giving my time.
Yeah.
And it's been stretching me. But honestly, when I get out, and I'm there,
you love it.
I feel great. Like I'm like, y'all, this was good, you know. And so I've
look at
really
me being social.
Exactly. I'm like, oh, this is what's up. But a lot of people don't understand this. When they think of Anthony O'Neal, they think I'm an extrovert. Really, I'm an introvert.
Me too.
Like when I hit the stage, I love it. But as soon as I get off, put me in my own room. And I am good. I am happy. But I've been forcing myself to get out more, be more involved in my local church and do things. And it's been a great experience because I know when I get married, I'm going to be living with a woman. I'm going to have kids. I'm going to be doing my whole thing to where it's not just going to be me. And so that's what I'm working on.
This is so good. So a couple things. Same for me. I realized in this season that I needed to create more margin. And where am I going to meet people when I'm always in the house?
Yeah.
Like I have got to get out. Yeah. I would travel only to go work. So I'm always moving about and people are like, oh, she's always on the go. Most of the time I meet men in the airport. Baggage claim, the Delta Lounge in any given city and just walking through the airport. But I'm also usually very much in that, like, I'm trying to get where I'm going mindset, right? Yeah. So I've just learned to be aware that if this is where I'm going to meet people, just chill out. Like, fix your face, right? But also just like creating margin in my calendar. Last year I did what I call like an authentic alignment audit. And I went through everything in my life. I used the pillars as my filter. And when it got to the work pillar, I literally looked at every offer, every program, everything I was doing. What's authentically aligned with where I'm going, not where I've been. Yeah. What would be aligned? It would not be aligned for me to be teaching all of these courses live in this way all the time. Yeah. Because that takes a lot of energy. And by the time I've poured into my community, like one of my groups, we would call it Cry Day Friday. Every Friday, everybody on there balling because it's deep work. It's a lot of transformational work going on. Yeah. So after I've coached for 2 hours, I don't want to talk. Right. I don't. So now multiply that times multiple programs going on a week. that I know that I need to build in recovery when I'm teaching in that way, or I'm going to need to automate some of these programs. So I've been like literally tearing down everything and rebuilding it in a way that will be conducive to me being in a relationship where I can show up and still be nurturing.
That's good.
Because I can't be like, well, I'm drained. You drain, I'm drained. Right? So if you're drained, I want to be able to fill you up.
Yeah.
But I have to create the space. So the other parts of my life have to be set up in a way that support that.
Yeah.
So just like you too, therapist, yes, double down for me as well. Life coach, I hired about little after I turned 40. Best thing I could have added.
Absolutely.
But this emotional coach, what is that? Like, get into how you even discovered the need for that.
Some of my good friends, Lewis House,
Okay.
Was on my show, and he said that he hired an emotional coach. And live on my show, I'm like, wait, hold on, break that down, bro, because I need to understand what's the difference between an emotional coach and a therapist. Because therapists help you think and help you really understand why you think the way you think, why do you process the way you process, and why do you respond. But no one's really teaching you how to control your emotions. And so I went on a journey to find out, and you was there actually, because I referenced you. Like the difference between someone who is successful and non-successful is they allow their moods to impact their moments. And so what I've learned is successful people have managed and really mastered how to control their mood so it doesn't impact their business, doesn't impact their relationships, their friendships, their income. Because think about it. I don't know about you. Let's speak about me. When I would go, because I love hard.
Me
So
too.
when I get in a relationship, like I give it
I'm all in.
Yeah, I'm giving it all. I can meet you week one. I'm treating you like you the one, right? And I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. I got to move a little bit wiser on how I do that, but that's just who I am at heart. And so when I would come out of a relationship, I don't want to work for a couple of days. I don't want to talk to nobody. I'm moody. I'm emotional. I'm flipping off of my team, and they're not the problem. And really, it wasn't the person who I was dating was a problem. It was my emotions. I was hurt. I was down. And so my emotional coach now is teaching me how to control those emotions, how to still feel them, how to still relate to them, but how to make sure it doesn't impact your life in a negative way. And that has been such a huge thing for me because I just recently met a young lady and it didn't work out. And I was very proud because the things that she told me to do, ask yourself these 10 questions. And be honest with these 10 questions, write them down, pray over them. And then I pretty much acknowledge your feelings, write them down, leave it there.
Yeah.
And when you leave it there, you keep on moving.
You know what I do?
What's that?
My practice is when I'm like in my feelings and I'm like, okay, it's not for me to need to call the person and just be going off. That's just not my vibe. I'm not confrontational like that.
Yeah.
But I will record voice memos and I will say everything.
Wow.
And you know, I don't even talk like that, but you know what I'm saying? Like I will just like go through whatever the emotion is. If I'm sad, if I'm upset, if I'm angry, if I feel betrayed, if I feel this, if I feel that, but just to get it out. Because then when I listen back to it, I can pick out the actual problem.
Yes.
And without my emotions being all over it. So now when I do have the opportunity to talk to them about it, if I desire to present it to them, I'm really leaning into the actual problem.
Yeah.
Not because that's what we do. We'll talk, and then you want to have this back and forth, and it's exhausting and it's draining.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, really the problem was I was afraid.
Exactly.
And so to get it out though, I'll record a voice memo. I listen back to it. And then when I'm complete, I just delete it. And that's my way of releasing it.
That's so good. That's so good. For me, we stopped talking. She sends a long paragraph. I send back
Okay.
2 words. I understand. Followed by, let me process. She calls that very disrespectful. And I'm like, wait a minute. She's like, oh, you're just being short with me. I said, no. What I'm saying is I understand how you feel. Now give me the opportunity to process these things because I already know how this is going to go. Emotional coach. She's going to lead with her emotions. You're going to lead with your emotions. She's going to respond back with her emotions. You're going to respond back with your emotions. You all are never getting to the heartfelt. And so now it's like, hey, let me process. Then I'll come back and be like, and I acknowledge her feelings, I share my feelings, this is what I think we need to do. And I've learned that sometimes people are not emotionally mature to process the truth.
Yeah.
And so for me, I get frustrated because like now I'm processing emotionally healthy wise now, and I'm not doing that with someone who's not emotionally healthy.
Yeah.
And that hurts.
It does.
It really does.
But this is why too, I do love really hard as well. Like if I'm in it, I'm in it. I'm all in.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that it's because I'm rushing, but I do believe clarity allows you to move more quickly.
Absolutely.
So when you're like kind of clear, like, okay, you know, I'm ready to observe. Like I'm ready to go into observation phase. But once I realized that a man is not emotionally mature enough to give me time to process, because sometimes I'm the one, I don't have it yet. I need to voice memo. I need to get it out for myself and really go, Patrice, what is it actually that is bothering you before I just bring you a bunch of stuff that's not your stuff. So I've learned, and this is the beauty of like investing in therapy and having a life coach and investing in your personal development so that I know how to fight fair.
Yeah.
If we gonna have to fight.
Yeah.
Like fight fair in a way that's actually gonna like,
ooh,
you know, create something for us, not because I just want to be right.
Yeah.
I'm done. I don't have time for that. Yeah. Like, so, but when someone is trying to force you to talk right now,
doesn't that bother you? And then
why can't I have time to process?
You know, but then too, here's what I'm saying. Oh, shucks, see. I'm about to get in trouble. I hate having this conversation via text.
Right.
And so I'm sitting there talking to her and she's on the plane. And I was like, yo, I don't want to have this conversation via text. This needs to be, you need to hear my words. You need to make sure you understand my tone. We can't do it on, I'm like, well, emotionally, just not emotionally there. I'm going to be quiet. I don't want to get into more trouble. I'm redefining the wealth.
Listen, we're going to both be in trouble at the end of this. Everyone we've dated in the last 2 years going to be like, and you said.
Yo, but what I'm saying is this, though. I honestly admit that a reason why a lot of the relationships didn't work is I played a huge role in that. And I've taken the opportunity now, who is a flawed man, to learn, to grow, and to evolve. So that way, when I get into the next situation, I'm either going to learn and evolve in that one, or I'm going to learn, evolve, and be with her as far as a wife or down. And so I like to say that too for all the exes who are listening.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I said I've enjoyed the process, though. I'm learning a lot about myself. I'm learning a lot about other people.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's the point of life. It's the growth.
Yeah.
We're growing.
Yeah.
I mean, at least we're stopping to reflect.
Yeah.
On the relationships. And I think that this is something that's important to do in the single season. Now, I know you are loving the Redefining Wealth podcast, but do you know what would take it up a notch? It's if you invested in a copy of my brand new book, Redefine Wealth for Yourself, How to Stop Chasing Money and Finally Live Your Life's Purpose. Now, on the podcast, you hear me talk about the 6 pillars of wealth every single week. That's fit, people, space, faith, work, and money. And I want you to incorporate this into your life. But let's be honest, the podcast isn't enough. I poured 114 lessons from my own life, the rituals, the mindsets, the behaviors, the attitudes that I had to shift in order to redefine wealth for myself in each one of these pillars. And now I've made it available to you. So you can make sure to pick up your copy in paperback, hardcover, or even listen on Audible. Whatever you do, make this a part of your library today.
This is my show now.
Let me sit back.
But what I'm saying is, ladies got to understand, men are emotional.
Very.
And it's like Eve was so powerful with her words that Adam disobeyed, for us people who practice Christianity space, right? Ladies got to understand, y'all words are powerful. And it's like, you know, ladies, y'all can hurt us with your words. We can feel like we are at the top of the mountain. The world could be celebrating that man. But the woman who we love and invest into, if she says something completely opposite, it could bring a man down. And you'll never know it. So I just want to say that, ladies, just be very careful with y'all's words.
That's so good.
Because it's like men are emotional. I've cried internally because of what a young lady has said to me who I loved and invested into. and she would have never known it. But I responded emotionally because she hurt my pride.
And then she responded
Exactly.
from how you respond. And so where did we go?
And she never knew the truth.
And she never knew the truth.
She never knew that she hurt me.
I'm very convinced with this last one, I may never know the truth.
For real.
I may never know the truth. But I also didn't feel like I could keep going back and forth with like a hot and cold nature. I'm not good at that. Because I'm very real. I'm
Absolutely.
very transparent.
Yeah.
Vulnerability is not as hard for me as I think it is for some people. So I'm very just like
Very straightforward.
This is what it is. So I do struggle with people who are not straightforward but believe that they are.
Ooh. Wow.
Because you met people. I tell them like it is, but then when it really comes down to it in intimate relationships, you actually put no voice to truth.
I could be probably too real. I'll meet a girl up front. My 5 S's. Why you bring that up? I'm sorry.
Because what are we doing?
What? Right. Why do I need to prolong it? If you know you can't do those 5 things, why are we there?
Right.
Why? I had one lady, and then go back to your question. I said, all right, I gave her my 5 S's. She said, cool, great. Here go my 5 things. She said, I need a man to pay my bills, do this, do that, do that. And I wasn't even upset with her because she told me her truth. Cool, great. We're just not aligned. I ain't paying all your bills. I just met you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I could respect someone who was straightforward and upfront with me.
Anthony, now does this really happen? Now, I've heard this several times that women who literally just meet a man will have the expectation that he pays their bills?
How do I say this respectfully on your show?
Just say it. You're at home.
I think that if intimacy is involved, yes, there are some ladies, I'm not saying all, there are a certain group of ladies who are saying, yo, if we're having intimacy, you're paying my bills. Yes, there are those. I've had ladies say, listen, if you're expecting sex, I'm expecting a check.
Wow.
Yeah. Now that's some. I'm not saying that's not all.
That's not on my list. I just want to be clear. Let me look into the camera.
Be clear.
I just want to be clear.
But he needs to be generous.
I want someone who has the desire to provide and the capacity to provide, but I'm not looking for that. Like, I'm not looking for someone to financially take care of me in this season.
No.
But I want you to have the ability to.
Yeah.
I'm just not, that's not what I lead with personally.
You're looking for a true partner.
I'm looking for a partner.
Right.
I'm looking for someone who's very clear about their vision and their purpose, and they want to leverage my gifts, my talents, my wisdom, my charm, my charisma to further that vision so that we can like really leave a legacy. I feel like I have what it takes to like come alongside and amplify a vision, but you have to have, that's why I broke up with one person. You couldn't articulate a vision, and I'm designed to amplify vision.
Yeah.
So you need to have one.
That's so good that you said that. That's so good you said that.
Yeah.
Some ladies don't want to. They don't want to build a bear, and I was like, I agree with you, but I think you should be able to help a bear build.
Ooh, help a bear build.
Yeah, exactly.
But like, do we already have a blueprint for the cabin, or like, will we?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But think about it. I mean, help a bear, a dominant, strong force build. So
absolutely.
he's already moving into that direction. You're coming along to help him build. And while you're helping him build, y'all are now have come together and y'all are building together. So like you should not stop redefining in what God has put on the inside of you, but your vision should be able to naturally sit within his vision. His vision naturally sits within your vision. And now because both of you all come together, you're even better because of y'all's partnership. He's much better because of y'all's partnership. But what I do see ladies drop everything they've done to come help this man build. And I'm like, nah, unless that's what you really want to do, cool, great. But if you're saying I'm going to sacrifice this for him, nah. Help. I'm a bear. You know what I'm saying? But help me build. You're not going to build me, but I'm building. And so I want you to come along and help me build. I got the vision. I can articulate the vision like it's nothing. You know what I'm saying? But the problem is there are some ladies in this generation that are like, okay, cool, great. I'll marry you. You're going to build your thing. I'm going to build my thing. And I'm like, yo, I want to build our thing.
I want to build our thing.
Yeah. That's what I want. That's what I really want.
So here's another thing. For some reason, I feel like this is my therapy with you or something. I don't know. We have just fully switched over. But this is another thing that I experience as a woman who's already successful in her own right.
Yeah.
Is that sometimes I will meet someone, by the time we, talk again or go out on a date, they've looked me up.
Absolutely.
And they've created a whole story about who they think I am or what they think. Sometimes I feel the intimidation, like, well, I know you around a lot of men that have X, Y, Z. Okay, well, that was unnecessary. And this is men who already have stuff. Mm-hmm. I'm like, what would make you, like, why is this conversation needed? Or they'll say, you must have, so what happened in your marriage? Before I can even open my mouth, they're like, you traveled a lot, you was gone all the time, you weren't there.
Men
it's
be
like,
doing that?
Yes.
I've never done it. Now I've done. Let me look her up. Let me check her out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let me see what's up.
Of course.
But I have, and I think there's nothing wrong with this because me and you in the same boat. Y'all actually do it worse than men. Let's put it out there. Y'all will Google us. You've never Googled the man.
The last guy that I dated, he sent me an article because he was like, you're clearly not going to look me up. And I was like, I'm trying to get to know you for you before I get into all the stuff that you've done and what you've accomplished.
Well, that's not safe. You need to Google the man. Make sure you need to know.
I met him in company with people who vouched.
Oh, okay, cool, great. I feel you got to do some type of research or vouching, right? And so that's good. But I don't understand why. Trying to think, why would a man look that up and
make an assumption?
I've never done it, so I'm not even going to speak to that. I think I've looked her up, make sure that she's straight, make sure there's nothing out there negative on her, as far as because here's what I'm looking for. Are you bashing your ex-husband publicly? Are you bashing your baby father publicly? Because if you feel comfortable doing that, you will feel comfortable doing that with me. But if I see nothing but success and you giving me time, I'm running the play.
See, but you also are a Black man who actually believes and invests in therapy.
Yeah, but I'm gonna run the play. Like, think about it. If Patrice sees value in you to take you out on a date when she don't need to be going out on a date, she wants to be. I'm not going to be intimidated by what I see. She got a blue check mark. Cool, great. She making 7 figures. Cool, great. Okay. Now I would want to figure out why are you giving me the chance though. I would want to figure that out. So then now that way I can continue giving and showing you the man that I am. But yeah, Patrice, if a man asks you up front, no, what happened? Oh, it's because of it. Yeah, you need to leave that, brother.
Oh, I did. That was
yeah. That should conversation. That should have been an appetizer meal only.
Yeah, we didn't go on a date. That was just on the phone. we didn't make it to date status. I was like, yeah, that's a no. Okay, so you did a course called The Singles Blueprint.
Yeah.
And you had 8 pillars to help people maximize their single season. Yeah. I just want to run through these. So I'm going to say what the pillar is and you just give me your take, whatever comes to mind.
Yeah.
Okay. The first thing is spirituality.
Do you have a relationship with God? Is he the head of your life? Period. Point blank and simple. I think if you're going to maximize the single season, as you get through the pillars, you're going to see something in here that's very good, right? Everyone's talking about submission. I wanted to see, can you submit to God? If she cannot submit to God, then she cannot submit to man. Mm-hmm. So that's my main thing. If he can't submit to God, then he cannot lead well, because if he can't follow God, how can he be a leader? If you're not a good follower, you can't be a good leader. So I just believe that if God is the head of our life, everything will fall into place as long as he is the center.
What about people who say that in name, but then as you get to know them, they're not really practicing anything in particular? So some people will claim, for example, Christianity because that's how they were raised, but there's no actual relationship.
Well, if there's no actual relationship, right, then we have a red flag. I think at the same time, we need to kind of be like, okay, wait, we're not all perfect. And so we are going to make some decisions that doesn't align with Christ. But that's the reason why Jesus Christ died for us, because we are flawed human beings. But if he just says he loved God, but then there's no genuine relationship. There's no prayer life. There's no study life. There's no, if he's not kind, he's not loving, then yeah, no, that's he or she, you know what I'm saying? That's a red flag.
Yeah. Cause I look at the character. I got to see the fruits. What
Absolutely.
you say you praying about? Like, how does that show up in how you behave and how you treat others? Real talk.
That's
you
real.
can say it all day and then be mean spirited. That doesn't feel in alignment.
Absolutely. And I think too, some people get mad at me when I say this. No, I ain't gonna say that. Go to the next one.
No, say it. Say it.
No, I just think that, a man who says, I love God, I rock with God, but they're broke, I don't think you're rocking with God. Because if God fearfully and wonderfully made you and he gave you all the gifts and the talents, and you're not using the gifts and the talents that he gave inside of you, he didn't give you that to represent him, and you're broke. You can barely make it. And so like I'm not a relationship expert. I'm not trying to hook up anyone, but I firmly do believe that God, yes, hasn't called everyone to make millions, but he called everyone to have wealth. And wealth may look different from all of us. Our
Correct.
peace, joy, and happiness may look differently, but it's like, you shouldn't be struggling, because how does that make God look? Why is it that the people who don't rock with God, they filthy rich, but the people who rock with God, we could barely eat. We can barely do our things. And so I tell men all the time, man, if you're rocking with me, your goal is bare minimum $100,000 a year, bare minimum. And you work. You just use the gifts and the talents that God put on the inside of you when he was forming you in your mother's womb. Use that. You use that. I'm not saying you're going to be a multimillionaire, but you will be wealthy.
Yeah. You need to exercise that work pillar. I got you. Okay. Life vision.
Yo, man, where are you going? Where there is no vision, that's where people perish. So I'm like, any man or woman, my homegirl, Sarah Jakes, called me out. I said, yo, do you think a woman should have a vision for her life? She was like, absolutely. Like, you think a woman can build a legacy by herself? Absolutely. And so I was like, yeah, that's good. So I think in the single season, we don't really think about where we're going, because sometimes we're thinking about, well, I don't know. I got to find a wife
I have
first.
to find the person I'm waiting on.
Exactly. And no, to me, relationship is about alignment. So if I am focused on where God has called me to go, and then if I meet someone while I'm on that journey, and then if she's on that path, I'm aligned. But if I don't have a vision, I'm all over the place in life. And then you're meeting all kinds of people, and you're wondering why things are not working out, why your business is not working out, why your money is funny, why relationships are just funny. It's because you don't have a vision for your life. So I literally teach inside of this course how to write a personal vision for your life. And here's what I love about that, right? Your vision will answer your questions for you. So your vision would say if he's the one, if she's not the one.
Yes.
Your vision would be like, is this the right job opportunity or not? Your vision would say, is this the right business opportunity? Your vision would say, is this the right friendship? My vision has saved me so much money and has saved me so much heck from dating, because we just weren't aligned.
Yeah.
And so I think a vision is very important, and every single person should have a vision.
I have more that I want to say about that, but in the interest of time. But this is why I'm able to say, okay, if he doesn't have a vision for his life and he's not clear about where he's going, then he can't amplify. He can't use my gifts.
Oof.
Like, he can't use what I have to be amplified. So I know that this can't be the person for me. It doesn't matter how much attention you show me. It doesn't matter how much affection you show. It doesn't matter how willing you are to come to me wherever I am and all that stuff. Like, no,
don't do it. You was pulled to be a helpmate. What you gonna help nothing?
Correct.
Don't do it.
Can't. Next, time.
Oh man, how are you maximizing and stewarding your time? I got to say, to be honest, and I'll say it quickly because of time. I didn't steward my 20s correctly. You know what I'm saying? I was out here balling, chasing all the ladies. I remember making like $13,000 on my first check selling cars. I spent $7,000 at a strip club. I remember just getting and utilizing the time to impress people, rather than saying, you know what, dang, I'm single. Let me maximize and steward this time correctly. Let me build a business. Let me save. Let me invest. Let me eliminate my debt. Let me do the right things with my time. So this way, when I get married, I've stewarded my time correctly, and I have more time to spend with my wife and spend with my kids. And so I'm just teaching single people how successful people are using their time.
Yeah. Comfort.
Oh man, listen, man. To me, it's all about, you got to be willing to get out of your comfort zone. Don't allow your comfort zone to become your kill zone. And I think comfort has allowed a lot of us to be so comfortable to where we're not accomplishing our dreams. We're not really building a business. We're comfortable working at 9-to-5 job, knowing that we've been called to something else. Because we have the 401k benefits, we have the guaranteed check. But God is saying, yo, I called you to more, but you're comfortable.
Yeah.
And you're not willing to step out of your comfort zone into your faith zone. And so let's do that. So I'm teaching people how really I live in my uncomfortable zone. I have no problem being uncomfortable. I get scared when I am completely comfortable.
Yeah. The same. I embrace discomfort.
Do you?
Because then I know I'm growing.
There's
things that I say yes to that I don't always feel ready. You about to say with the 5'5", that's where you were going. It's not going to happen. That's not the discomfort.
Discomfort.
No.
He's 5'5".
No.
Be uncomfortable.
No, I'm not bending over in all the pictures. I'm not doing it.
You don't have to bend over. It can be a Kevin Hart situation. Just lean on his shoulder.
For those of you
This
listening,
is why
the eye roll that I just gave Anthony is next level.
This is why I see my girl, y'all. Because listen, I'm just saying.
I knew you were going to do that as soon as I said it.
Absolutely. You don't want to be uncomfortable. You'll be uncomfortable for the check, for life, but you do not want to be uncomfortable with a man. Next one.
The fact that he just acted like he checked me on that is wild.
If I did, leave it in the comments, Give Redefining Wealth a 5-star. This was the best one. He just called her out on her own show.
Moving on, network.
Oh, man. It's all about network. You know what I'm saying? Me and you met through my brother-in-law.
Yes.
And it's like, I am so grateful for that relationship because you called me out on that first phone call. I was like, dang, like goodness gracious. But it's like, I believe sometimes your network is greater than your net worth. I won't say his name, but there was a particular very well-known individual just bought a Rolls Royce. And he said, yo, how much y'all think I spent for the Rolls Royce? And everyone was, 300, 400, 500,000. And he said, I spent zero. I was like, really? He said, yeah, I know the guy who owns the Rolls Royce business. So he let me have it. He said, yeah, it's yours for 2 years. Free lease, it's yours. He said, so while y'all are out here chasing the bag, chase the bag. But see, some of y'all are screwing over your relationships because you're trying to chase the bag. When your relationships, your network can get you into rooms that your money can't get you into.
Baby, every time.
And so I'm like, okay. So I'm teaching single people, like, yo, why you're single? Get in the rooms and maintain those relationships. And that is hard because I'm an introvert. So I'm like, I don't want to be like, hey, So what I've learned to do is I have a calendar for just days. So birthdays, anniversaries, special occasions. I have friends, their birthdays and they're out of town. I fly in and celebrate with them on their birthday just to maintain a healthy relationship.
The connection and relationship.
Because it's like, if you don't have healthy relationships and network, then it's like, boom, you're in trouble. Like if you call me for anything and I got it, I got you. Because we've maintained the relationship. And when I made my huge transition out on my own from my previous situation, I called you and you spoke so much life into me. And I was like, yo, and you connected me with certain things and certain people. I was like, yo, that helped me out way more than money.
Yeah.
And so I'm teaching single people on that, like, hey, your network outside of your relationships is very important.
Yeah, such a big people pillar lesson. And what we say here is that there's always someone watching you who has the power to bless you, but who are they watching you be? And so much of what I've accomplished has come through the relationships in my life. Yeah. It's not necessarily pitching or trying to force or manipulate my way into rooms. I've been invited into rooms with billionaires. I couldn't have asked. I've been invited to masterminds where everyone paid $100,000 to get in the room, and I was just there. Ooh. Like, hey guys, hey, I'm here.
And they don't even know you didn't pay.
No, and I didn't know I didn't pay until I got there. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But relationships, everything, that network is so true. Okay, 6 was core, health.
Core. Yeah. Core, it's just who are you at your core? We talked about this on your entire show today. Just who are you being? Are you being your true, authentic self? And I can definitely say I have not been that person.
Me neither.
Because I was afraid if I said this, if I acted like this, then I wouldn't be accepted. So I played a role of Anthony O'Neill to be accepted. And here's the truth. I lied to people because I wasn't giving them my truth And that hurt relationships because I was trying to conform to who they were. And then at the core, here's what I've learned. If you treat me wrong because how I taught you how to accept me, I can't be upset with you. So I'm just leading with my core authentic self. And now I'm going to teach you that my feelings matter, who I am matters. And if you accept that, cool, great. If you don't worry about it. And I just want to teach single people, hey, let's identify that, because I think that will help us when we get into a relationship.
Yeah, because we won't be always just bringing the representative.
Exactly.
Like, it's better that you know these things up front than me waste your time for 6 months or a year. And now you're like, why are you acting brand new? And this is who I knew I was at my core.
I'm just praying for you because, I mean, you give me a list of 29 things. I'm be like, you know what, woman?
I'm going to show you my list when we're done. What the Lord told me is these are all the things that I know I'm working on becoming, or I am. Like, it is. But they're not crazy. They're basic stuff.
It's 29 things.
But some of them I'm willing to compromise on.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm not saying that.
So you're willing to be uncomfortable?
Yeah.
Okay, cool, great.
Not with the height one.
I love it.
Moving on.
Yo, what's up?
Physical wellness.
Hey, man, listen, we got to look good. Period. I think single people, we need to worry about how we look. We need to take care of our bodies. Our body is a temple. So what are we eating and are we working out? Period. Single people, start looking good. I don't want my wife looking at me talking about, dang, you 39 looking like this. You had all this time by yourself and you ain't, you know what I'm saying? Then she need to look good when she get butt naked. How you doing? God is good.
Moving on. Number 8, ownership.
Y'all listen. Oh, I was about to say something. I can't say it like that. I can't say this on your show. I don't mean no offense to nobody, but I think that one of the most creative group of people on the planet Earth are Black people. We are very creative, but we don't own nothing. And I really wanted people to understand that you need to own your life and you need to have some level of ownership inside of your life as far as in what do you own. If you're constantly building somebody else's life and somebody else's business and you don't have nothing that you built for you and your family's business, that's sad. And for me, I was like, you know what do I own? I've built amazing people's legacy. I've sold into their legacy. And I got tired of coming home and seeing their last name on my check and I have nothing for myself. And so I say, what am I building for my family, for my future? What do I own? And so we're just teaching people how to own their time, own their life, own their perspective, and have some level of ownership over their life.
I love it. And what I love about your podcast too is you have just such a breadth of conversation on there, but also for people who need to really get their finances together.
Absolutely.
In their single season.
Yeah. Ladies be hating on me. Why you looking at me like that? Yo, could you go out on a date with a guy who only spent about $75 on the first date, but he gave you a $3,000 experience? Really?
Wait, what? He gave me a $3,000 experience,
but he only spent $75 physically.
Is this because he used a coupon?
No.
What does that mean?
Just answer the simple question.
Yes.
Okay, cool, great. So that's one of my things. Like I teach men, like if the average man in America, I know you don't date average men, so I'm not talking about you, but if the average man in America is making $48,000 a year and the average man is dating in between 1 to 5 ladies, a month, he can't afford to spend $100 on every single woman every single month.
That wouldn't be wise.
Not wise. And so I teach men, I'm like, hey, instead of for leading with money, lead with the experiences. And then I'll let you know if she's the one or she's not the one. And ladies don't like that because, I'm worth more than $100. Well, this is not about your worth. This is about, hey, we're dating. Dating is data. And data is I'm trying to see if you're even the one I need to be investing in too. And so just one of my philosophy is that, it doesn't make financial sense for a brother to spend that much money on every single one on the very first date.
I agree. Like that. You know what? I don't even need a fancy dinner for the first date. I would go on like a hike. Like I want to do active stuff. I'm serious.
You're lying.
That's not true.
You will go on a hike, sweat with the man for the very first time.
All I do is post videos of me working out in my stories every other day.
Yo, you different.
I value fitness. I also want my man to look good. I want him to. I don't want to argue about going to the gym. Why are you always going to the gym? Who you like in there? That's physical fitness and wellness is important to me.
Yeah.
So if somebody was like, hey,
Let's
I
go
would
on a
love
hike?
to go. Yeah, I would like, let's go hike and see a waterfall.
What about walk in the park?
I guess we could walk in the park.
But
yeah.
you're like, I feel you.
But I feel like going to like hike and see a waterfall or taking a beautiful view is still a vibe.
But you just literally proved my point. If the man is listening to you and he sees, well, she likes to work out, she likes to take hikes, she loves water, she loves views. Okay, cool. Hey, Patrice, I was thinking about on Saturday, how about we get up in the morning and let's go for a walk? Let's go on a hike and take you on a special little hike, little trail to where you can see some views. And after that, y'all get some protein shakes or something like that. That's me listening to you and giving you a good experience. And it didn't cost me $100 for the first experience. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's like,
I mean, I've been out with men who could lay out a spread and order everything on the menu, but then their spirit. Right, you know? So
listen, you talking my language.
It's energy, it's spirit, and it's also being willing to know what matters to me, not what you think every woman wants. I'm not every woman.
See,
I could eat and I could go.
I'm bringing you on my show.
Let's do
Because
it.
ladies won't like me. They won't like you on my show. I'm serious, because they were like, wait, what do you mean? Because I tell this all the time. Ladies, I can spend $1,000 on you. Easy. But that takes no effort. But to listen to you and to give you an experience,
yes,
that takes effort. Because now I'm spending my time to listen and to plan. But if I know you're okay with the $500 first date at a nice little restaurant, putting some heels on so you can look good, that's nothing. That's just a get on open table, find a restaurant, boom, book it, and we're there. But to listen to you, like, okay, she likes this, she likes that. Yeah, that takes time. I value my time more than I value my money. I can get my money back. I can't get my time back.
Same.
That's it.
And I think as a woman who has money, I like that, but I don't need that from you.
Yeah.
I want to get to know you.
Come on.
And like really see if we vibe in other areas. If we both have money, more than likely, if I went on a date with you, we both have money.
Yeah.
We already, that's established.
That's established.
Okay. So now what we doing?
We just trying to figure out why she want to do 5'5".
If I fall on you during this hike, buddy, you are done for.
But wait. What if he 5? What if he 5? Okay, I'll give you 5'7". What if he 5'7" but he $180, $190 strong? You know what I'm saying? You fall, he got you.
I'm not even gonna tell you how much I weigh because that would throw your whole little
$180, $190. He could probably squat you. Okay, let's be honest. Don't downplay us short guys. This is not me. This is my sister. I'm just saying, don't downplay us short guys. You know what I'm saying? Because I squat very good. I like, my woman got to be a stallion. You know what I'm saying? Stallion. She style.
Okay. last rapid wisdom questions and then we're done. How do you define success now?
Man, success is just by how many people have I helped to get out of debt and build wealth.
How do you define wealth in 3 words or less?
Same thing as you, joy, peace, and love.
What's one book that has redefined how you see wealth?
Think and Grow Rich, but the Black choice.
Dennis Kimbrough, my guy. All right. And fill in the blank. My name is, and for me, the truth about wealth is.
My name is Ayo, short for Anthony O'Neill. And the truth about wealth is God is good.
Amen. All right. Anthony, thank you for being here again. Always a pleasure. You guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please make sure you rate and review. Do not put anything foolish in the comments. Listening to Anthony, do not let him get you blocked. No, I'm kidding. I really appreciate you being here, and I hope that you're enjoying this season as we continue to just unpack what it means to redefine love. Not just of others, but of yourself and also of God. Make sure you follow me in social, Seek Wisdom PCW. What's your social? At Anthony O'Neill. We'll make sure that we link to all of Anthony's goodness in the show notes. And until next time, I want you to go live your life's purpose, find fulfillment, and earn more without ever feeling like you have to chase money. I'll talk to you later.